Hey, you will make it TV followers, viewers, supporters, and listeners across the globe. Thank you for clicking on my video, tuning in to another live segment here at You Will Make It TV, where we share inspirational quotes, divine messages, and insightful topics weekly. If you haven't already, remember, we invite you and encourage you to become a subscriber in 2025. This way, you receive notifications every time we go live or have a insightful topic for you guys next. So, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate your support. And though you guys see, I am a fan of Krishan Rock. That doesn't always mean, like, when you're a fan of somebody, that don't mean that you're a fan of everything they choose to do, everywhere they choose to go, everything they do. Not a real fan. A real fan understands why they're a fan of somebody, and I believe she has star quality. No matter who or what in her life has worked hard to knock this out of her. This is just my commentary, reaction, and opinions, though. Let me state for the record, nobody has to agree. We never come and share topics to invoke anger or get any type of reaction out of people. But everybody has a right to their voice and opinion. So sometimes I like to look at real situations in life and just see what we can learn from them. And I know for sure when people look at my life, there's a lesson or two that they can learn. Maybe not just the positives, but some of those preventative teaching lessons too, right? If you see somebody else go a certain route and this happened to them, or they chose this or they chose that, why go that same route? That type of deal, right? But for the main part, first, I've just been inspired. It was just something about Krishan Rock's story, like from day one. If I never mentioned it before, but even when she was in her early stages with Blueface and everything, I don't know what it was about her, but she just stood out to me. You know what I'm saying? But that's me personally. Maybe it was her youth, like how old she was, how she was starting out, the options she had, the things she was up against as well. Because most people, when they think Krishan Rock, they just want us to think struggle. And I love that she's fighting that narrative back, because who doesn't struggle, really, right? My stream tonight is not so much all about Krishan Rock, but more of where I respect how she's trying to continue to carry herself. Because I don't know, maybe people would be more satisfied if they just seen her sitting stranded on a street corner or something. Once again, once you become a mother, whether that's a first time mother, second time, third time, fourth time mother, I don't know what be wrong with people. You do not have time for shenanigans really anymore. But this is just my opinion. Now you got time for the shenanigans that you choose. Yeah, it's your life. People be wanting to control all the shenanigans, and it ain't even their life. I mean, we all done had a shenanigan or two in life. I'm just saying, you do have to more prioritize those shenanigans, though, once you become a mother. And all I mean by that is, people are going to talk. When they used to tell me that, I didn't understand, but they was like, people talk when you do well, people talk when you're not doing so well. But I promise, it's like, I know what they mean now. You know what I mean? For real. Because you would have to do well first to know that people talk about you when you're doing well too. For sure. So if I hadn't lived that side too, then I couldn't speak on it. You could be doing it as well as you think you've ever done. Somebody else might still have a problem with it. So, and then you might be doing bad and you feel like people should have mercy and compassion or whatever. And then you don't find it. So I guess that's what that quote means overall. Like, you do, whether you're doing bad or good, people will find a reason to talk about you. So Krishan and Cardi B above all else right now, boy, I don't know. It just seemed like people have really, really, really been working to, because I'm going to tell y'all, no matter how much you work to tear down somebody's character, if they have star qualities, if they were born to be a star, because I just want to give some of my open commentary tonight about what I be seeing Krishan Rock go through, though. Of course, my insightful topics won't be for everybody, but we do appreciate the support as we get it. And then I always go back and repost these streams for those who missed it, right in our on our post community area or whatever. So you can always go back and tune in to any of these lives that you missed. But number one, it was like you kind of almost saw people sit back and watch. And I don't even know how to start with this. Let me start by saying this. I think her and the Beano guy are really, really cute together. Her and her new boyfriend. I think they're really cute. I actually hope to see. You know how you don't want to set the standards too high for any relationship in the beginning? People call it the honeymoon phase or the first stages of talking. And people are right about that. It's usually the best stages, like literally, like who has all turmoil in the beginning of their relationship. It's kind of unheard of. So, but from what I see, and then right when you had hopes for them, here come his background. I ain't gonna say his background, but and I'm like, why do people do that? So soon as she moved on with him, because she already had to deal with what her family be having to say sometimes on interviews and stuff. But then she got to turn around. This man ain't been with the girl long at all. We all see that. And now the baby mamas and stuff are popping out the water. I guess this how life go, though, y'all. I just be sitting back observing. Talking about, girl, he got other kids and he this and that and he just using you. And I was just wondering, I mean, this as a sisterhood, like, do women know how they look when they do that? Because a real confident woman would let a woman find out what she needs to find out about somebody on her own. I mean, this is just my opinion, though. That's why I say I don't want to jump into my points too quick. Let me make them make sense. You rushing to try to get on live and tell Krishan that that's your baby daddy and he this and that. What really made me mad is she called herself leaking his medical records. And I'm just like, what is up with this new generation, this new trend of if you can't stop them, pull their medical records. If you can't stop them, get it so deep in their business that, I mean, so what's up with that though? For real. Because y'all already went in her son's records, Krishan Jr.'s records. I think what they're hating on is like, y'all just don't want to accept that. Some of the fans don't want to accept that. Guys, no matter what disability her son has or she has, it's like, God will humble people. You do know she can still find love. Period. Even if Krishan waited 5-10 years down the road to find love or love find her, it doesn't matter. Y'all, people are not in control of the time limits of love, are they? Now, I used to ask myself, do I believe in love in first sight? I really still don't believe in that. I really don't. Like, how in the hell do you fall in love when you first looked at somebody? This is You Will Make It TV, so anything is possible, you hear me? But it's like, And I think that people just expected her to be a failure or that she expects a lifetime of karma or something because of the way her baby came out. I just want to give my open opinion about it. Like, there are people who don't do drugs at all while they're pregnant and their kids still come out disabled. That's number one. That's not me defending the right for people to do that while they're pregnant. But there are people who don't smoke, don't drink. They live the most healthy pregnancy they could. And their kids still came out with some kind of disability. Period. There are stories out there like that. There are conjoined twins that are born sometimes. Conjoined twin stories. Have y'all seen those? Did you think they come out because their parents were doing drugs? No. Sometimes you're just born with disabilities. And it was really amazing to see people are so expert now, like, oh, that's alcohol fetal syndrome. They know all this medical terminology when it comes to your business or the next person's business. You feel me? But really, mental health is still that big one that I say awareness is still greatly needed in every society and every community across the globe. Because Anybody can point out her situation and be like, well, I feel like he gets less care. So people gonna forever say that. They just gonna be staring at you. Once they find out one of your kids have a disability, I hope my stream actually encourages Krishan Rock. Cause it's true about life. They'll never say it out loud, but once they find out in the secrecy of their mind that one of your kids or loved ones have a disability, they just study from afar anyway. Like, I wonder, is such and such even taking care of such and such the way they're supposed to? I personally agree that it's a hater mentality, because if you're not stepping in to offer that person assistance, I would never understand that. I will never understand it, depending on how close you are to the person that you're talking about. And because I saw Krishan Rock goes through that too, and it's bad. Like, why are y'all doing it to the young people? Like, why? Why has this become trendy? I don't know. I just feel like, why are people hating on her new relationship? It's, once again, this stream is not about Krishan Rock. If you don't see the life lessons that God is trying to show us through that young lady life, because that's another thing that people try to mock her about. Like, oh, wasn't she just at church? Who told y'all? Y'all know. First of all, so you sit there and watch every single person and who they are when they not at church. Do not play with Krishan Rock. We need to see more rappers go. In my opinion, you need to see more. It would be a cute little trend, because God is more than a trend. That's not what I mean. Worship and praise is more than a trend. That is not what I mean. What I'm saying is, make it a trend and normalize actually finding our faith again. That I will always respect her for. Because, like, when it came to certain seasons and periods of her life, she didn't ask anybody their opinion. You just saw her on church. The paparazzi followed her there. You think she told paparazzi to come follow her to church? Come on now. Now, y'all can do all this mocking about Krishan Rock, but you can't mock Black China. Where does she go by her real name now? Miss Angela. You can't mock her. They just say that every time, every time a woman says she converts her faith, it don't mean it's real. Well, why would that be your business? It's her faith, right? It's her heart. It's her soul. I just don't see people's logic with getting so deep and detailed and entangled in somebody's walk of faith, because you're not walking it for them. And God loves a person that's been through something. He sure does. Those are his favorite stories to work amidst. I just couldn't believe that. Really, I just encourage her and her new man. They gonna have to be. He looked like he's a strong cookie. He already ready for it. I seen him on the live the other day saying, just because y'all don't see us in a restaurant in a picture together all the time don't mean we ain't together. He was defending his woman behind her back. I said, you don't see that all the time no more. It's become more trendy to, I don't know. I just can't get with the new trends. Not all of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is that cool to down talk? Because that's what you see in Blueface do a lot, behind the girl back. But that's just my opinion. Anytime he could at one point, this boy was just putting her down to the media. So it ain't about the people. I'm just using their situation for example, right? Like, I love that about him for her. I love that about him for her, right? He is already coming on live and going public and letting people know he has her back in that way. Like, hey, I see y'all as her man. I see how y'all be. And I just love that for her. I'm sure she loves it too. Or I was wondering, do she recognize that? Not too many just come out and like, hey, what he tell him? He was like, man, y'all get off of her nuts. Just because we're not in every video or photo together don't mean we broke up. Most of the times you see the women come out trying to defend their relationships in that way. So I don't care what he looks like on the outside. I respect where he's coming from, his stance about who he chooses to see right now. More men should stand up in that way. Men will see too. They have a lot of haters. If a person hates you just because the woman you chose, something not right with that. Not a woman you chose for him. A woman he go choose on his own. And I don't know. I'm trying to open men's eyes a little more to that. I don't get any benefit of it, but hopefully a better society for and future for the kids to live in one day. And it goes vice versa. Now, with women, it's more understandable, right? Because, you might have people on your path that say, hey, I don't think this guy's the one. Or my phone just dinged. They called it confirmation, I believe. But you have those people sometimes that have been there or been around you longer than your new significant other, and they just, all they can do at the beginning is give you their opinions. Like, hey, you better watch out for him, or hey, you better watch out for her. When they start doing that, I promise, I just keep my opinions to myself. But no, God said let them out. People need to hear authenticity again. They really do. Like, be real. I told y'all in another stream, God told me to speak my heart, not my mind. That's what separates me from a lot of people already. I'm already on the level. I'm speaking my heart and not my mind. I don't care what the topic is about. How about I speak from my heart? What did certain burdens take you through? You know what I'm saying? And more people should speak from their heart. When you got people just speaking from their mind, ain't no telling what will come out of their mouth, in my opinion. That's a quote I've never spoken on, but I should. Just like speaking from your heart versus speaking from your mind. It's a whole thing that I wouldn't have even thought about without divine guidance. No preacher ever told me this. No minister, no teacher, nobody. Like, literally. And I didn't think of stuff like this on my own. So I do believe divine guidance, divine messages, and divine intervention is very real. And Krishan believes in it too. That's why I was watching one of her recent interviews. She very much believes in God, but I'm going to get back to that in a minute. Because I don't like the new trend of, like, trying to down women who try to go find their faith in God again after a breakup. So what? So now we going to play like women don't need God. I'm sure you needed God before you was in a relationship. But what's wrong with finding faith in God after your heart's been broken? Whether it was a man that did it or not. That's crazy. But you're a fake believer if you go find God after a breakup. Like me, I know better than to play with God's name like that. That's not my place to say somebody didn't find God for real. Now, I might say some things about people, but I will never go that far. Like, their faith is not my business. I saw them do that with the Brittany Renner girl. But like I was talking about with Black China, you didn't see people doing that. People was more like they knew her change was real. Nobody went and paid Black China to take out the BBL or to stop wearing makeup or to go more natural. That's something she personally chose to do. You see? Sometimes faith is just faith on a person, and the changes in their life show for itself. And so why would you need 1,000 people stampeding towards your business talking about a person faith ain't real? Yeah, they trying to play those games with Krishan Rock right now. You know. Now, finding God never meant you're going to get it right every day after that. That's the point of divine guidance. Nobody gets guided one day by the divine and then they just stop guiding them because they fall. Even when we begin to learn how to walk, did people forget? You're going to fall. Ask your parents when you first learn to walk, if you just got up and start walking one day and you never fail in between the process. See, life doesn't even work like that. So why would it work like that in the spirit for anybody? Each and every one of us started crawling, even in the spirit. You know, if you start a spiritual journey, you got to start crawling just like every other spiritual baby had to. Then you learn to walk and stand up and pull up on things. And sometimes the one teaching you how to walk, got to pop your hand sometimes and tell you no. You can't climb up on this. I know you can walk now, but that don't mean you can do all of this and everything. Now this and that can be dangerous. It's just like God has to do with his children. Remember Mufasa tells his son, all of this is yours. But that over there, that area over there, he said, what's that over there, Dad? Oh, son, that over there is not our territory. You feel me? It's just a lot of us believers today. I can speak for a lot of us, especially the baby ones, that are learning to walk with God all alone by themselves. Like Krishan Rock stands. She might be alone sometimes. It is what it is. Now they want to jump in and tell you what's best when it's just you and God walking together. Like, people are funny. But God ain't never needed no help. God and his children. I mean, and most times when help is sent, sometimes it's not going to look like how you think it should look. That's why people shouldn't be too quick to judge her new relationship to me. Period. That young man's testimony had touched me. Because y'all didn't know her new man got a testimony. And it's funny how the baby mama can come out talking about, yeah, well, I know this and that about him. Girl, so she had me laughing. Boy, if I was Krishan Rock's sisters, I would have some words for that lady, because they be like, Miss Whitney, that's why we don't respond to everything in the social media celebrity world. You just can't clap back at everything. Because, you know, when Cardi B first came out, she used to clap back at every comment, everything everybody said about her, right? But I feel like every woman kind of has to go through that growth process in life too. Because, like, women are, to date, the number one critiqued species of people I have ever seen. Women and children. They just critique them I'm like, okay. But now we're asking, is the critique for positive or negativity? Because, you know, it's called constructive criticism for a reason. And I feel like when people be speaking on her baby and stuff, it's not for constructive criticism reasons. There's also destructive criticism, right? Just criticism that can straight tear a person down, though, if that person let it. But see, her boyfriend or whatever, he was giving his testimony. And for those that haven't heard it already, you heard it right here at You Will Make It TV, because I support that. Even if they don't end up together, I learned something new about his life. And it was that her new boyfriend, mama, is a pastor. You know, you got a lot of traditional people who still believe women shouldn't be pastors. Y'all know how that is. But me, I don't judge. And you just wouldn't look at some of these people on the outside, their outer opinions, and be like, their outer opinions, outer appearances, and think that their parents or grandparents are church leaders themselves. Okay? But like he was saying, he was just raised. He was raised knowing God. He know how to pray. And he said if he always found a woman for him, this is just like, I don't have nothing negative to say about his baby mama that was coming out talking about Krishan. But it's like, do she know this about her baby daddy? Like, did you hear your baby daddy on that interview with Krishan Rock, sis? Yeah, you might have 3 kids with the man, but he said his mother is a pastor. And he always saw himself settling down with somebody more that, let's just be real, he said somebody that more like he can be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? If he did want to step into his life of faith, he'd rather be with a woman who would understand that life. Like, she already prays. She already talked to God. She understands if he wakes up with a dream or a vision, right? If you just with any woman that you went and chose that God didn't have nothing to do with, you can't get mad at her for not understanding your walk of faith. And that's where it becomes easier to forgive people too. Like, how am I be mad about you about something you're not aware of pertaining to my faith? Or how can you be mad at me for something that I'm not aware of pertaining to the next person's faith, right? And that's why I do try to handle people with care. And in my definition of handling people with care, sometimes that even means just not handling them at all. How you gonna say you left something in God's hands, but your hand's still all over it? You see what I mean? But if they say they looking for signs of somebody's faith, right? Okay, that's where I'm trying to help people to see that. A person who took their hands off of something and put it completely in God's hands wouldn't still have so many hands all around it or in it or outside of it. That makes no sense. So when y'all should go hear their interview. They did a recent interview on some show, 106.1 radio show, and it was a really interesting interview because some people probably just like, oh, I already know how Krishan is, blah, blah. One of the first things I noticed since she's been with him, she's drinking Gatorades, healthier drinks every time I see them on interviews or outings together. That ain't even something she speaks on, but you can see it. Like, wow, he must care about her health or something. Like, look, I don't see her with a drink and a blunt all the time when she's in photos and videos with him. It's more like a Gatorade or a fruit drink, a smoothie. For real, I'm like, hey, now that's goals, right? Where a man is not just all in your face and we're doing what's they called public affection and stuff all the time. It should show, man, this guy is having an effect on this young lady. She got healthier drinks in her hand, blah blah blah. And no, I'm not saying Krishan Jr. don't matter, but you will rarely hear me talk about that because just the same respect I expect to receive when it come to people speaking on my kids, I want celebrities to know I have the same thing back at them. And it's crazy, like the fans just be saying whatever. They don't care. They like, well, they rich, we can say what we want to about them. I mean, because they've been going hard lately about Kim Kardashian daughter, and it's really not even their business. It's kids right out here in the local regular communities. If you care so much about who might be doing what to kids and how fast they growing up, you would be helping in your own community first, not speaking on Kim Kardashian's daughter or Krishan Rock. People who actually clearly have the money to probably fix any situation they want to in their life. And that's just my spirit does. It leads me a lot sometimes to the milestones and journey of Krishan Rock's life. And actually, she said we can expect some more music soon. We can maybe expect changes. Like me as a fan, I actually hope we do hear more, what, if you will, gospel rap. Like, tell your story, sis. It ain't always gotta be this thuggish, ruggish, bone music just to tell your story. It really don't. And I do feel like she has a lot to say, and that music would be still a great outlet for her. I haven't heard anybody else say it, but I can see Krishan Rock acting a little too. Pretty much when she put that full focus on herself, because that's what it does too, in that isolation place and getting to love and know yourself better. Through those seasons, you find out stuff about yourself you didn't even know, and you wouldn't have even discovered, letting the world tell you who you are. That go for each and every one of us. Ask yourself, have I ever just had time to just go alone and reflect about who it is I really am and who I'm really not? Because to me, everybody deserves that. You go through K through 12 and then it's straight life after that. You turn 18 and life demands so much of you from that day forward. Do people have the time? Like, because for some people, yeah, it is. It's their college days that they discover themselves. And others, they didn't have time for that. They had became a mother quick, or they became a father quick, and it's been about the money ever since. You see what I'm saying? But really, there's nothing more valuable than that. Learning who you are and who you're not. See, people talk about know who you are, but let's know who we're not too. And then back to what I was saying as a reverence to Mufasa and Simba. He showed his son that territory over there. Don't ever go over there. He was like, why, Dad? He's just like, son, that's where the hyenas and Scar and all his people be at, and we don't go over there. And just like a son or a child of God, like we are sometimes, you just ask questions you don't understand. You like, God, why I can't go over there? But see, his son did unfortunately find out the hard way a lot. And some of it he didn't see till he was an adult. You will hear me on a lot of my insightfulness topics bring up Lion King. I don't care. So I'm going to bring up Lion King because it seemed like every time I watch that movie, I find a new spiritual significance, a new spiritual symbolism. It's so crazy. I'll be like, there's no more clues I can find in this movie. But every time I rewatch it, I find another clue about life, literally. And especially when it comes to God and how he tries to protect his children. Ain't no try about it. He does. I would say he does. But when your child is hard-headed, just like I'm sure the devil got some hard-headed kids too. I just heard that the devil is quicker to penalize his kids. They get very serious penalizations when they go against the grain. We love God because there's grace and mercy. Every single time. It don't mean that, hey, I want you to do it again. It doesn't mean, hey, I'm all right with what you're doing. But there is grace and mercy there for that child to learn and grow. And that's all I was saying about Krishan too, or using her for an example. Uh, who told y'all a person whole life changed just because they start going to church? But it is a sign that that person trying to get it right. That's where I do respect her. And not right with people, with God first. Okay? A lot of people feel like, oh, she just feeling she has this and that to prove, blah, blah, blah. All I know, it seemed like that young lady been doing a hell of a lot by herself since that baby came into the world. People don't want to reverence what's real, or maybe people feel like, well, she deserves to go through a lot. It's her baby. I don't know. I just be sitting back watching people comments, but see, I'm a little more spiritually advanced and experienced to know that you gotta kind of watch comments like that, because you know it could be somebody in your family next, or one of your kids next. I told you, you don't have to be doing drugs or drinking. You do for them to come out with alcohol fetal syndrome, I admit that, but you don't necessarily have to be doing drugs or drinking for your baby to come out with a disability. Now, scientifically, that's already been proven. This more goes back to genetics, DNA. Some of the strongest, healthiest families still gave birth to disabled kids, whether that's them coming out deaf, blind. And I have a respect first for the disabled. That's all I wanted to say. You know, where is the respect for the disabled? Not just the benefits and the Social Security and things like that. People know that the disabled get, like the real respect. Because let's remember, every disabled person had absolutely no control over them being that way, literally. And that goes for her child too. And did y'all not see Stephen? Is his name Stephen Hawkins? Y'all didn't see his story? What's that man name, baby? That was in a wheelchair computer? His name is Stephen. What's his name? You were just telling me about him the other day. Yeah, I know. I told you the guy in the wheelchair. His name is Stephen what? With a H. Yeah, he's a, what all was he? Yeah, that's my point. He has so many different titles and roles, and he didn't have all the abilities of his limbs either. But when has that stopped greatness? Literally, some of his theories and studies, they're going back over today. They're going back over them for a reason. They even found accuracy in some of his writings, and unfortunately, sometimes the accuracy and reverence is not given to you until you're dead, but God rest his soul too. But it is crazy. Like, he did a lot of researches and studies and offered a lot of theories while he was alive. I'm not saying people rejected him because he was disabled. I was just bringing him up as an example of, you don't put limitations on. That's just trying to play God too. You don't put limitations on the disabled or the able. It's just the world is all backwards now. Now, as far as people's opinions about her, she should already have the baby getting therapy and all of this. Y'all do know people have a right to reject. I just said right. I didn't say if it's right or wrong. Literally, they have a right to reject medical care at any given time. Literally, even if emergency responders get called to a scene, to an emergency, and the victim says, no, I don't want to go to the hospital, they actually can't force that person to go to the hospital. I've been thinking about life a little deeper lately, and in some states it's a little more particular. Like, in some states, depending on the age of the victim, they have the right to reject or deny medical care. Now, this is a different topic when you're talking about babies, though, because they're not even old enough to decline or reject care. But with the single mothers, I can see that with what Krishan Rock is going through too. That's why in some states they have already began, like, it's mandatory. You have to take a certain class, an infant class, before you even take the baby home. Now, I don't know if that was in a state where she was, or if that applies as well to celebrities, but out here in the regular world, They are now implementing that in a lot of hospitals, right there in the infant section of hospitals, the maternity section. That's the word I was looking for. They might offer classes, and these are not optional. They're mandatory. Infant classes where you learn the basics of CPR, or the basics of how to burp a baby, or the basics of, things you would think that, oh, a person should know that. Okay, they also offer these classes while mothers are pregnant. So I feel like people shouldn't judge the support as God sends it. Just watch her testimony. Yep, as y'all saw, she got closer to God. Yep, suddenly she has a new friend, maybe two, maybe three. But as God begins to fill those shoes of her support system that surrounds her, look at the reactions of the fans. You don't know if she prayed for support. And then you can't say what it's supposed to look like. Like, oh, well, it's just another guy, so we don't think that's support. No, it's a lot of single mothers. I bet they'll tell you it was guys that weren't even their kids' daddies, helped them through some of the hardest times of their lives. I know there's mothers out there with that story. They might not didn't help them the whole 18 years of their kids' lives, because of course, if it ain't their kids, that's really not their responsibilities. But it is a lot of men out there who have helped to contribute to children that were not theirs. So we get that part. I have to give reverence and respect where it's due. But you just be looking for the presence of the actual fathers as well. Not that I'm here to judge Blueface or any other parents. I was just saying where I do respect the God kind of understanding how much might be on her plate. I don't think he looks selfish or nothing. People's like, yeah, he's just using her. He's just using her for a come up. Y'all are so rude. I come and defend some of the celebrities because I find insightfulness in some of the things that they go through. Because it's like, whose life can show you better than a person with connections and money and all of that? You know what I'm saying? Money do not change everything. That's why they say the best things in life are free. People ain't gonna like some of the points that I'm bringing up, but they are valid points now. Parents have always had a right, RIGHT, to deny or reject medical care. And then after that, you don't have to be a fan of her, but parents also have a right to deny or reject how open they are about their child's condition. That's crazy. Who told you because they're celebrities you must know? Like, they came after Beyonce recently talking about she don't show the other two kids as much. I'm like, God, will this ever end, or is this some new trend where they feel like the less you show your kids, the less you must be doing for them? No, some people just remember the days where there was no social media at all, and they didn't have to go brag on pictures and photos and videos to make them look like a good parent. But do know, there are some people, that's why you can't just judge a person's life off of it. It's not smart. Because just because they showing them in the finest clothes and linens and homes and cars don't mean those kids are always happy either. I mean, I just learned a lot about life so far. Now, I know I got a lot to still learn. But then you see kids that are just humble, being raised with basic humble humility and stuff. And you expect, well, we don't see how them kids ain't happy. I'd be unhappy in that household. You probably weren't happy in the one you was in. I don't know. It's like people get deeper and deeper with their opinions. Oh, so because you're an unhumble person, my child should be. That's crazy. I mean, if God wanted you to be my child, you would have been my child. And for anybody that's not, and if they would have been, they would be learning the same life lessons and going through the same humble and humility experiences that we've been through. That's all people base this off of, what they think is I don't know, it's weird. But I'm sure that Krishan's attorneys and everybody that she's working with and that's supporting her have let her know that and have reminded her time and time again, baby, it's up to you. You don't have to, and I feel bad because she do her best. Don't nobody have to share their baby with y'all on the internet. Because look how people do when you do. I don't think she was trying to hide anything. She openly was They would say, oh, she was toxic. She was drinking and doing drugs. And this is what's funny about it. Everybody saw what a particular young man was taking her through, too. And not every woman is strong as the next, where it's like, oh, I'm going to carry my weight on my own and I'm going to stay healthy and I'm going to keep a healthy mindset. Yes, that is delightful to think that way when you're pregnant. But see, domestic violence is domestic violence, whether you're pregnant or not. And it's funny, they don't talk about that enough. Well, what is a parent in domestic violence, a mother carrying a baby, what is she really going through? Because they say the babies can feel the stress. They can feel everything the mother feel while she in there. Even if they say that's the reason some of the babies are coming out with autism and more mental health problems too. There's been a whole increase of kids coming out with whole mental health problems, and their parents weren't even doing drugs. They were just that damn stressed while they were pregnant. Yeah, that too, but they don't want to talk about that. So it is probably harder to leave a toxic situation and you hold pregnant. Let's be real here. Let's be real here. If we're going to talk about the young lady, it's hard to leave a toxic relationship not pregnant. So just imagine pregnant. How far are you going to get? Because it ain't just you to keep in mind and consider every day. You're carrying a whole baby for 9 months. And they were going back and forth with that toxic stuff, even while she was pregnant. Y'all just don't know what a woman be going through behind the scenes. So I'm a part of the group of people that say, if you're going to say anything, you pray for her and Junior. Because she do have an American citizen right to deny and reject medical care, too. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I know her rights as a mother. She don't have to... some people real life believe and trust God like that. And faith has never been looked highly upon. Faith is only looked highly upon after the miracle is exhibited and people see that it's clearly a miracle or there was clearly faith involved. Like some of us still believe God is a healer. And Krishan admitted it openly on many interview segments. She believes God is a healer. Okay? But I think it's wrong that people want her to walk around with resentment and guilt for the rest of her life for mistakes she once made. Because y'all do know a woman can have more than one child. If her body is able and fit to do such, she can. Because her and her new boo, they already talking about, I don't know, they just be having me cheesing when I watch they little lives and dates and stuff. I'm like, go on, girl, be happy, do you. But it's just funny to see everybody talk about the new support she has. But where were they before this man was even in the picture? That man might be the one to encourage her, help her to get where she needs to get with her baby. And it's just crazy that the mother of his kids is already against it. I'll be proud. If a woman called me and say, girl, your baby daddy helped me get back on the right track, I'm going to clap for both of them. I ain't going to have nothing to hate about. I'll be like, he did what? And she'll be like, yeah, I know y'all got kids together, but I just want to tell you, your baby daddy helped me to get back on the right path. He helped me to get my son back in therapy. He helped me to get my career back on track. I'ma applaud him. Because who says just because you have kids by one woman, you can't go be an inspiration to another woman? If you and that woman didn't work out, who says, well, yep, you just stuck here. You my baby daddy, and I bet not see you with no other woman. But this is the real mentality of a lot of young women today. And that's why I'm kind of concerned about NBA young boys sometimes. Because I'm like, bro, you got so many kids, bro. Like, how is these women come at you later? I don't know, Because everybody's like, well, his wife signed up for this. She knew what came with that life. And she signed up for that. I'm not talking about that part, though. I'm talking about more of the family dynamics. Like how women seem to get really bitter about hearing that they ex helped another woman to elevate, right? When he could have And that is very real because they say different people bring out different qualities and traits out of people. You know, that's why you might feel like you got one version of a man and she got the better version. People be jealous of stuff like that. Like, girl, when he was with me, he drank beers every day. So that's the type of man he is. That's how people look at life. Girl, when he was with me, he just ate. He would not stop eating chicken. But when he got with her, he was on a whole vegan plan, a dietary plan. So we just re-explaining that to people. The reason that you see that people have different versions of themselves, depending. I don't think it's different versions of them. I think it's like I said the first time. Depending on who you with, they bring out the better or worser qualities of you, and that's what kind of more shows you a lot about that person. That's why we were saying, okay, well, with Blueface, she had a drink. She had to have hard liquor on every interview. She always was smoking or drinking or partying. Nobody's saying that we're blaming Blueface for her behavior, but notice on an emotional and mental level, this is very real, and it's even easier to influence people like that when they're younger or whatever. And it's just like you can see that. Okay, then you get with a whole nother person. You drinking Gatorades and healthy teas and smoothies. You rarely see her. I'm not saying she don't drink or smoke no more, but you just don't see her in public with all of that as much. You know, when she's on the scene with her new guy. So I think that's actually commendable on both her and his part. Because people want to play like they are not the reason sometimes people smoke and drink, and sometimes they are. We ain't gonna say you the reason somebody doing something, but sometimes you can be a big influence to it. And you don't have to be providing it or buying it at all. Okay? So it is really interesting to see that. Like I said, is it because he looks like some kind of street guy or something? Like who gonna tell you what your support's supposed to look like when they wasn't supporting you at all? Let that man support her. Like I said, if I was his baby mama and I saw that he's helping Krishan get back on track, I would commend him. Like, oh, that's probably why he my baby daddy. Look how he helped women. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, well, I come with the hate and spite. Like, oh no, he's just with her for this and that, and like, oh my gosh, like. I said, Krishan, I didn't even maybe understand at first, sis, but yeah, you realize be having people coming for you for the dumbest reasons. Like, people have found new creative ways to hate on people. They ain't even been together that long, and his baby mama called herself exposing his medical history. This stuff is laughable, bro. Talking about she found pill bottles and it be these type of women that expose that stuff that'll get right back with the person. Don't let that fool y'all. Like, the ones that be first in line to expose somebody dirty laundry, they also will sleep in that same dirty laundry with that person. Why you think they going so hard? Because it's like if you got 3 kids with the man and you knew about his medical condition or something, it's like, girl, she just throwing shots at Krishan left and right, talking about his medical health and he gonna be back at my door next week. Somebody in the comments said, duh, he's your baby daddy. Y'all got kids together. He gotta be in his kids' life. But why use that as a flex? I never thought I'd see a time where it's just like all at the same time so many women's insecurities are being exposed. I don't think it's nothing to be ashamed of. More people should not accept. What word am I talking about? Like, what word am I looking for? They should. Because how else do you work on an insecurity or strengthen yourself in an area of insecurity if you're not aware that it's an insecurity at all? If we continue to normalize insecurities and make people think it's okay. What do I mean by normalizing insecurities? Well, when we see certain societal behaviors that we do not say or do anything about, well, you're now normalizing it. I don't care what it is. Any type of behavior that becomes more normalized in society. And some of it, I'm sorry, unfortunately, are toxic behaviors. So once it's been normalized, it's kind of hard to try to make a person see where it's not normal or where it's toxic or where it might be a bad influence to younger women or whatever, right? Why would people see that? I mean, why would they easily see that the young ladies of today when you've already invested 30, 40 years into normalizing it? You see what I'm saying? You would have to be as patient the next 30, 40 years to denormalize something, unnormalize something. You see what I'm saying? So it is a battle. It is a battle, but I just like even I'm gonna stop using my daughters for example, but I do speak highly of them every chance I get because even as I tell them, I don't want to just sound like the mom that always catch every negative and nag about it. I want to be able to applaud you where I see you doing the right things too, even if nobody else saw you. Mommy saw you, so and I'm a good witness at any time for good things that my girls have did in this world to help contribute to this world as well. Helping strangers, helping old man to their car. I've seen them do some very positive things, but I wouldn't want them kind of like Mayweather's daughter. Not that I have nothing negative to say, it's just crazy. Like, bro, with all the money, people still think all this money is supposed to give you security, or it just makes you unsecure. No, this girl here be trying to fight all the YB young boys, other flings and baby mamas. She even tried to fight his wife recently. I think they said she did, and kind of allegedly forced a miscarriage on the young lady. I hope it's not true, but just it showed me a little more what it is these men be going through, and they be like, Sherry, we can't feel sorry for them. And these men chose to have all these baby mamas, but even if you know your baby dad has multiple baby moms, like where in a situation like that is it healthy to just be outside fighting all over? You could fight a man baby mamas all you want to. Our kids still siblings. That's what's stupid about it. And this people don't understand when you're talking about generational curses and cycles. This is what we mean. Y'all can't even get past the last person. You know? And it be just unrealistic, bro. Like the what am I saying is unrealistic? The stigmas that they try to put on these young women, it's unrealistic. When they know some of them was wilder than us when they were young. I do think that Krishan is that one in her family though. Like she's just gonna help to break a lot of cycles. And let's remember, ladies and gentlemen, there's absolutely no test without the testimony. So I just want to come and give my reaction and commentary to her new relationship and how I still extend that to her. I know she's going to make it. She will make it. She knows she's going to make it, and that's why she's not going to slow down in her work at this time just based off of people's opinions or lack of support or what they think about her baby. Because it's like people didn't understand it. Whether he has a disability or not, she has a right to reject care. She has a right to reject medical treatment and care. And I would say that's okay, but you want to make sure you replace it somehow. You still want to fill in those areas. Like if it's speech, make sure you're working on them with speech. If it's sight, make sure you're working with them with sight. If it's physical therapy, you want to make sure you're working with physical therapy, right? Because I do still believe in those natural ways or home remedy ways to get your kid on the level that they need to be on. So that's just not for me to speak on. I would just say it's advisable. You know what I'm saying? It's like it seems moral if you're going to reject or deny medical care. It seems only right to make sure that he's still receiving it in some way, shape, or form. That's all I have to say about that. But it is good to see her maybe have better people come on in her circle and try to support because they see that she still has potential, or they see that her and Junior could use some support, like her new boyfriend. We respect them at You Will Make It TV because people gonna do that all day long. What? Look at your outer appearance and that tells the whole story to them. I started an inspirational quote channel because it's like some of these quotes are played out anyway. They said, don't judge a book by its cover, but people do. They do it every day. If it wasn't for the book cover, a lot of people would be read better right now. But that's how God made all of us, like with an outer shell, and your style or class or taste usually is rooted from what you've known, or sometimes what you known is not you. That's just all you knew. And then once you get to know yourself better, you see that you have new taste for things, or a new what's that, like desires or taste or passions. That's very real, and that comes with growth. That's why a 2-year-old wouldn't want Enfamil anymore. They're gonna reject it themselves. You can try to put it in a cup or their bottle. By 2, they're usually off of a bottle though, but you can try to put it in there, give it to them. Most times a toddler over 2 is gonna reject Enfamil. That's not something you have to do. They're gonna reject it themselves. Why? Because their tastes have changed, or they've had taste of new things, and now that they know that there's new things, and they've had a taste of those new things, this might be what they prefer or desire on a long-term basis versus just a bottle of Enfamil, right? Just giving people a new perception when it comes to that. Okay? And it's like sometimes you see people already, I don't know if they call it karma, but you can see that the universe or God, however people want to look at it, have already kind of repaid a person for a sin or a mistake that they've made. That's something I've been studying too on my spiritual journey, not just with myself, but the others. We're taught biblically to not, for you, like that it's a sin for you to actually get enjoyment or fulfillment out of you feeling like somebody got their karma. Like, that's just not your place. For you to sit there and grin or laugh or add extra seasoning and salt to somebody's karma season or somebody's judgment season, right? I'm happy to teach on that a little more because people want to be careful with that. You want to be careful with that. It's okay because the Bible tell you to watch and pray. So you might witness a thing here or there, but it's a sin, to like wish evil on another person in the first place. But if you see somebody already like, oh, well, her baby's like this because of some things she did. Okay, well, don't you think she's already being repaid? The baby is in a disabled state. To continue to bash and judge the young lady for the rest of her life is crazy to me, Or maybe people wouldn't so much, like that's what they be saying. We wouldn't judge her so much if she would just get him therapy and stuff. Like, who told y'all she has to show that publicly? Number 2, I do give my opinion. I believe if she did kind of start like a vlog, where it's like showing his progress over time, I do believe she would have a lot of supporters. And just sharing her testimony of what more of where addictions can lead us, and how where it led her helped to reshape and remold her life, right? But who knows? This might be coming soon. Just more like I don't want to say a vlog, even if it's just a TV show about her and Junior. I don't know why ain't nobody brought that idea to the table for her yet. I see her more on something like that versus Baddies, where she more entertained that, or was more of an entertainer on that show before she had the baby. Like, why would you just want her to stay stuck at Baddies level, constantly disputes and fights with other women over guys? No, put her more on kind of like Nelly and Ashanti got they show. I wonder if her and Bino should have one, or just her and Junior. You know what I mean? All about Krishan Rock, or I don't know what they could call it. You know what I'm saying? But just more of a, because people, when people get to that level where they following you and everything you do anyway, you might as well get paid for it. You can't stop them from talking. You can't stop them from following. So you might as well get paid for it. What it is, people want to be in control. They want to almost be the producers. Like, no, this is who she is, and this is what she looked like on this day, and this is what we call her wearing, and we call her sticking her hand in the cake. You see, they want to be the producer, literally, of your life story. When the Bible says God is the author and finisher of our faith, when faith is involved. So, no, let women take back control. Let them be the producer of their own stories. What do you mean? Let us be the cameraman. Why it always got to be third degree people standing from corners and angles you don't even see them at? Talking about they know your life better than you. No, you don't. If you had to hide in a tree somewhere just to get those facts about me, you don't know my life better than me. If you had to run to the blogs, or run to another person to see about me, that shows in itself you don't know about that person. So she another one of those I feel like could benefit. Like, once she, I don't know how the people around her are going to take it. Because, like, once you get to that status, people don't always understand. And I feel like Krishan Rock is probably going through that a little bit too, where you still spending years and years and years trying to explain to the family why you have to change things up because of the status that she's on now. When she get more to an isolated place too, I can see what's gonna happen with her. Like, and you can see they fight it hard. Like, they have to keep you in a dependent place. Like, oh, you can't do this without me, or oh, you can only get a deal through us. That's the part that seems to suck about the industry, though. You know, you bow down to what they talking about in their narratives, or you make no money at all. It seems a little weird, you know. So I do hope she refines her energetic passion for music as well, because I actually see, I can see her growing in that area as well. And I see her acting, or maybe she should try a little modeling. But it's just young ladies like her, I do not want to sleep on their potentials, because she's younger than me, so I can call her young, you know. If they scatter your potential in one area, show them why we are multi-talented black women. You scatter it in one area, rise up in another. And then they be mad because you rise up in other areas. But what are you forcing a person to do when you scatter their work in one area? You see? It's just weird. Because with one baby, I would say it's still a lot more manageable to chase a career at the same time and still be a mother. I feel like she can still very well. Yeah, because people was like, her main concern should be Junior. I don't even know why she's still on camera. If anything, she got to be more on camera. She got a baby now with a disability. So I'm pretty sure she needs all her money. With not Blueface money, not another celebrity's money, her own. So she got to still get out here and work and do things. I would say she should, while she's at it, go ahead and see what else you might be good at. Start your own makeup line, Krishan Rock, or look what Rihanna showed us. Y'all think Rihanna just started that brand to flex? She's trying to show young women pretty much the sky's the limit. Because, Rihanna went through her battles too with men in the past. But, there's always a bright tomorrow, as long as you're willing to keep going. Thank you guys for tuning in to another segment with You Will Make It TV, where we share inspirational quotes, divine messages, and insightful topics weekly. Remember to hit that subscribe bell, like button, and leave your own opinions in the comments. Until next time.